Buddy Danny here with the Highway 62 podcast. And in today's episode, I talked to Shannon Seaberg, who owns Earth and Easel Art Studio in downtown 29 Palms. All right, Shannon Seaberg from Earth and Easel Art Studio. Thanks so much for joining me here on the podcast. How are you today?
Very excited, doing great, little tired, but I
Little
think we
tired,
all are. We're all a little
right?
tired,
We were
a
talking
little
about that
hot.
before we started here. Yeah. So you own Earth and Easel Art Studio right here on Highway 62 in downtown 29 Palms. We'll talk a little bit more about your studio and your inspiration to open that and what you offer people. But give us a little background, like who you are and how you ended up out here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born in Florida, and then about like 6 years ago, I met a man in the military, and that brought me to Virginia, which then brought me here.
Yeah.
And I fell in love. I felt like this is my place. But actually, there's so much more to this story I've been painting my whole life, say like since being a teenager. But what really kickstarted the paint parties, um, was because I did bar mitzvahs. I was
Okay.
the MC for bar mitzvahs, and that's really how it all started. Like grandma has to kick her shoes off, she has to dance, she has to have a good time. 13-year-olds hype them up, and it starts with like that. It doesn't matter what age you are to dance. And so while I was painting, now what I like to build is a little bit of that bat mitzvah attitude, in all my classes and everywhere I go. I've just always been like that. But yeah, I got here a year ago, and I plan to stay.
Yeah. What is it about the area that has locked you down and made you feel like this is a place you're going to plant some roots?
The moment I got here, first of all, it's like an energy force. I don't know if everyone can feel it, but I know when I left for the first time, that's when I realized how beautiful the desert is. It's like, and I don't know, do you feel like this? Like you just have space to breathe. Simplicity is everywhere.
Yeah.
Everything is slow. It can be fast if you want it to
Yeah.
be, surprisingly, because it's blooming. But it's slow, and you kind of have your own way of life. Like you pick and choose who you are. I feel like every day you're shedding a skin, and every day you are who you are, but you have less societal norms, I would say,
Gotcha.
and everyone's just homey here. It's just like we're all kind of doing it together.
Yeah.
I
That's a
love it.
great way. I love how you explained it. That was great. What tell us how you got into art and painting.
So, angsty teenager, got to run home, do something. That is how I painted all the time. I'm self-taught. I remember the first time I would always paint for myself, but I remember the first time like this guy reached out from one of my space paintings, and he was like, "Hey, how much is that?" And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Okay." And from that point, I kind of realized like that $50, that wasn't gonna change things. I'm still gonna create, and
Yeah.
I'm always reminded that, like, it doesn't matter the amount, I would say, but that I just wanna do it, and I just need to escape and get in your own world. Art is like anything. Art is literally anything. Like, you can sit on a canvas, claim it for $10,000. That's art. Like, it's whatever you want it to be, and so that was my thing. And then I was like, "Well, what else can I learn? What else can I build off of this?" I can paint for 16 hours,
Wow.
hence
It,
why I'm
it
tired.
it is interesting, like in the art world, because I mean, it's kind of, people will make a joke or I don't know, it'll be in some TV show or something. There's always like the joke of like going to some art gallery and there's like, a canvas on the wall and it's like, there's one red dot in the middle, or it's just
A
a black,
banana.
yeah, or a banana or a black canvas, and I think we all have those feelings when we look at sometimes when we look at art like that and go, well,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, is that really what makes that art versus me doing that same thing? And why is it better? And it's funny because I was just back in Chicago like 3 weeks ago or something, and I went to the Art Institute during the afternoon when I had some time, and I hadn't been there. I grew up in Chicago, so I'd been to the Art Institute a few times, but it had been
Oh.
like 20 years maybe. I think the last time I was there, I had a assignment for a sociology class in college or something, and I had to go like look at
So you have
certain
to go back now.
go and look at these certain paintings and stuff. But it, there was a spot where I did go to a room where there was like the black square canvas, and I'm like, okay, this
And
is
did
at
you
the
feel
Art
how did you
Institute.
feel about that black square?
It didn't do anything for me. It just seemed like a black square. But there was other pieces that were simplistic, I guess you could say, in like the design or the initial viewpoint that you have of it and what
Yeah.
you see that do make you feel something. And it's just such an interesting thing with art. And and in some ways, maybe that's what keeps a lot of people from trying art, is that they think about, drawings or paintings that are very, based in like a realism, and they go, well, I can't draw a picture of your face and have it look exactly like you were, I had a friend that the first friend of mine that I moved into an apartment with was a good artist, and he would grab a canvas and a, airbrush.
Wait, now I'm blanking.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to edit this part.
I'm having a young brain fog.
He had an airbrush, and he would just like, I was just like sitting there and he just airbrushed a picture of me and it like looks exactly
Wow.
like so there's those
It's
kind of
impressive
artists.
though. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, there's people that are very, famous artists that probably couldn't do that. Um, and I think that's just like one of those really interesting things about the art world, I guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna piggyback off of that because
Sure.
I love the fact that like you understand that that is what art is and that it's so different and that people have certain skills, but like it's such a broad thing with art that it's like when you kind of so like you said, you can have someone that can do something very talented, right? But they're maybe not the top artist of the world. But it seems to someone else like, wow, why is your paintings not up there on the list? And that person's is. But then you realize that, and this goes for anyone and anything that wants to pick up a brush or wants to think about art, your art is only as valuable and worthy as you're putting your self worth into it. So, whatever you create is uniquely yours. And so, I feel like every human is so different. Like, even if you're a twin, you're not making the same art. Even if I made art right now and then did the same exact thing later today, it's going to be so different. Even if I
Mm,
tried to make it the same, because we're constantly evolving. And that's the part where it's like, well, I'm the only one that can make this. What do I want to piece it at? And how much am I going to be upset if that piece leaves? That's how I see it as an artist. Like,
gotcha.
it's like, how much do I feel about this thing that I made? And then other
Right.
people feel that. But then, so you're creating for yourself. I think artists are creating for themselves. Well, I like to think that. I
Yeah.
I try to create for myself. But then you put it out in the world and it's selfish to like this is what I love to preach this because I'm like if you are like storing up all your art, right? And you're not sharing it with the world, I think that it's selfish because there's someone out there that would wake up every single day looking at that art that's in that pile, whatever it is that you maybe think is not good enough to share with the world, but it's going to make them smile every day.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that they're going to smile. And so as an artist, you're going inward, but then you're kind of when you're sharing it anywhere, you're like there is going to be that one person out there somewhere who comes across this and that's what they needed to brighten their day.
Mm.
And then it's like you have this like connection through like it's kind of weird. It's like every day you're like have this person's artwork in your
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
and you're like looking at it and it's like in your world. It's cool.
Yeah, and, I don't have a lot of, like, original artwork pieces, in my house. I have a few, and it is there is something just really, really cool about having something on your wall that you look at that somebody else made that way. I have this painting, on my wall here that I got
Can we see
from
it?
uh,
I don't want to mess up your screen. Oh.
okay, so it's that Marilyn
Ooh.
Monroe piece, right?
Okay.
And it was just an original piece on canvas. And I bought it from a street artist in Jackson Square in New Orleans, right? Like 2 years or a year before Katrina. And
I like it.
he shipped it to me, just rolled it in a tube and shipped it to me, and I never took it out of the tube until, like, a year ago, like, when I moved out here a couple years ago. So, I took it out and I put it on just this piece of plywood, and then I clear epoxied over it with colored epoxy, so that's why it has kind of that
That
yellowish hue,
gloss.
yeah, hue over the whole thing, and my table's kind of a mess here, so you can't see the
No,
whole
it's
thing, but,
beautiful.
and it's cool to just sorta, like, I don't know, I look at it and I wonder, like, "Well, I wonder what that guy's doing," you know? Like,
Yeah, yeah. What is he
it's
doing right now?
20 years later or whatever, and, and I have a few other pieces, some photography pieces and things like that, and, yeah, it's always something that I've always said, like, if I had, like, FU money, that is something I would spend money on, is,
Yeah,
like,
because it's
my
fun.
house. I would have original
Yeah.
art my house would just be covered in original artworks from people, and, um I think that's a good thing. If you have a lot of money, that's a cool thing to spend money
Do
on.
you think artists do you think artists um I love Marilyn Monroe actually, and I love that painting. That's beautiful. I'm glad. I also love your hand being on my wall when you came in.
Yeah,
So you're a part of my world.
yeah,
You need
yeah.
some art.
Yep, yep, yep. I have painted
Um,
a few things. I've done a little bit here and there, but,
like drawing. Oh, like
I
acrylic.
tried to I kinda did some drawing for a while, but I just never felt like it didn't I didn't feel like I was any good at it. It also just, like, didn't really speak to me, like, I just didn't.
Like that's not your thing.
Yeah, it just wasn't my thing. I do like photography. That's something I've always been interested in, and, like, I like kind of like multimedia, using multiple genres to kinda create stuff, like,
Yeah.
using like, I took this piece of art and then I did, like, my twist to it by putting the different colors epoxy on there and things like that. So, I do have those moments where I feel like I wanna do something more creative,
Yeah.
and then for some reason, it just falls to the wayside
Well,
and I
you're
get.
also like music. And so you appreciate art probably more
Yeah,
from others because you're like, well, that's not my thing. So it's like, wow, that's cool. For
yeah,
me, music, like hearing a band play, you know, to me, that's like, oh my gosh, I like watch every like hand movement because to me, I'm like challenged with when it comes to that. I'm like, I have no idea how you guys are all making this beautiful sound together. I mean, like, I just think it's cool. I think it's amazing.
yeah.
It's something that
It
you
yeah,
feel.
yeah, they're definitely, I mean, there is a vein that runs through all of that, a lot of guys that I know, people that I know from other, like, peer group bands that we tour with, and, the thing with those peer groups is, you'll go 6 months without seeing the person, and then it's like you'll meet up backstage because 'cause you're both playing at the same festival, and then a few months goes by again, or 6 months or a year, and then you meet up again at the same festivals, and so everybody kinda knows each other to a certain extent, and a lot of the people in that band circle that are singers or guitar players or whatever in bands, you do come to find out, oh, they sell paintings that they do as well, and,
Oh, that's
it
cool.
it is pretty common. I think it's also, you see, like, tons of people that are successful in acting. A lot of them, play guitar and really wish they could be in a rock band. And then a lot of people from rock bands are like, man, and that's me.
Yeah.
I always feel like, God, I should have gone into film I've just always been this massive film buff, ever since my cinema study class in high school. I've just loved good movies. And I'm just, you said you were self-taught. Are there any artists that really inspired you or that you took inspiration in your or styles from?
Yes. The art Sherpa. That's her name. Actually, I think her name is Cinnamon. Um, the art Sherpa. She is just fun. She's like wild. She has different color hair all the time. I mean, like she just drew me in and I'm just like, you are cool. And she would just make these tutorials online
Okay.
and she would say like how hard they are. And she posted like thousands like for free, just like sharing this. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. I mean, now I'm sure like, she's blooming because
Gotcha.
I think that's the trick maybe. But she is so amazing and I highly recommend to anyone that's trying to like maybe just try. Well, first come to Earth and Easel, then go check out the art Sherpa. But if you do like it, yeah, I mean, she was so cool. And then now as I think as I go, I don't know, I don't have like one style. So now
Gotcha.
it's just kind of like, yeah, mixed media, like grabbing whatever I feel and then I always am seeing artists. I'm like, ooh, okay. Honestly, kids make me like that. Kids inspire me. Like they don't care. I
Eh,
think
all
that's
right,
why
my
I love
mom.
art.
I have to answer the phone because my mom's calling.
Oh, hi mom.
Hey, mom.
Hey girl.
I'm in the middle of doing a podcast interview. Can I call you back? All right. All right. Talk to you in a few. Bye. Um, so
That could be cool.
tell us, what's the story? How did you, open Earth and Easel?
Yeah. Well, I started doing paint parties. And actually, quick story. It actually all started when I got my top teeth knocked out.
Ow.
Like these top six teeth were not in my mouth. These are
Ow.
my real teeth. God is good. But I was the white chicks dance, trying to do that flip when you're like upside down, landed right on my mouth. And they came out and I just had to eat baby food and I was sitting
My
around.
God.
Um but, so blessed. I don't know how I have my teeth. Whatever. Nothing happened
It's
in
amazing.
hindsight.
Yeah,
But
you're
what
lucky.
did happen during that time where I had braces, those dreams where you're like, oh my God, my teeth fell out.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
one of those. And then it actually
Yeah.
happens. You're like, wait,
Ugh.
did I manifest that? But so I had to recover, for like 4 months. And at the time, like looking back, I don't know why. I wanted to be like, I think I wanted to feel like I was productive while also like healing my mouth. And I just was like pretending to be on like a class. Like I was just like on Facebook, but I was like, my family was asking me, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm taking a class. And then next time they asked me, how's my class? I realized, wait, I actually think I need to join a class. And there it was right on my laptop, how to host paint parties without having a studio.
Mm,
Okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing while I'm healing is learning how to host paint parties and connecting with business owners and doing that whole thing and how to like, just go about doing it and all the materials. And that's how it kickstarted, hosting these parties, teaching live step by steps. Cause I never even thought like to really teach in person or like teach at all.
yeah.
And it was so cool to realize that, like, why I had to just sit down for 2 seconds. I don't like sitting, but that made me sit and that made me learn like this whole operation. And then taking that when I built it in Virginia and then I came here, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to dive right in. But then I started working at Daydream with Chelsea and Andrew. And Daydream's, I don't know if people know, but it's a store and it's
Yeah.
right there, right next to Earth and Easel. And they're such good people. And I was working doing paint parties in that store.
Okay,
And then I
gotcha.
was working at the cash register. And that's kind of how I met a lot of people. Just like
Yeah.
it was summertime, actually, which is the best time to meet people. And yeah, the moment that like that space kind of opened, it was on my radar. I'm like, But then Dion with Snakebite, I feel like we built it all together. Like it was like just all happening at the same time because he came down, he saw that space. He's like, why don't you get that space? And I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. And it just became this like blank canvas
Hmm.
and I love it. And it's my safe space, and I want other people to feel like it's their safe space. I want people to feel like when they walk in, like the walls are kind of white. I'm not sure, but then you really get in there and you're like, oh, you can have fun. You can run around. You can be you. You can splash paint on the wall. I don't care. Have fun. And like, I feel like that's now like the reason why I have Earth and Easel.
Yeah.
is like,
Tell us no, tell us a little bit about the because you offer I follow your Instagram, you're always doing a lot of different types of events. Tell us a little bit about the different types of things you're doing there.
sure. Yeah, I do textured art workshops, painting. We're gonna have a DJ. We have a lot of things planned. We also do embroidery. We do acrylic. We do standard wood paintings. I have ceramics. And now I started getting people's talent instead of selling like their stuff, which actually I do sell some artist stuff. We have a featured artist, but people's talent who can do something that, I can't want them to come in. And so we have like amazing people doing embroidery now. We're going to do like where you can make rugs, crocheting, and we also have baby goats coming because baby goats are cute, and
Cool.
why not? We got to get the baby goats. We're gonna make goat milk soap,
Okay,
but we're also
gotcha.
gonna have baby goats there running around
Yeah.
because why
So
not?
and you do, I see that you do kids classes as well as all kind of adult stuff, right?
Yes. Kids classes, we're doing like sensory play for toddlers, but then also we have hula dancing that we just did. So we're gonna mix like dance and play and um mommy and me's. So just honestly, anyone. I also do private parties. So if
Mhm.
anyone wants to host a birthday,
Gotcha.
they can just come in if they want to celebrate, bridal shower. Let's do it. Let's do it up.
Yeah, and I was seeing I think you did I might get the names wrong, but I've seen things that almost look like kinda like couples nights where, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, are sitting down and painting things together or painting pictures of each other, um, paint your
Every Friday
friend or
night.
something like that. Okay. So I mean, it definitely sounds like, I mean, you're really creating a lot of different welcoming experiences for people of just all kinds of backgrounds. What would you tell somebody, 40 something dudes who are just totally like, I'm not going to go do painting or I'm not going to be good at it or that's for the ladies to go do or whatever.
Mhm.
What would you tell somebody like that?
Yeah, it is interesting because men do have this like thing where I don't know, they're the strong ones and we're like the creatives or something like that. But I would say that when you do it, you realize first of all that it doesn't need to be perfect. But I would say that just go for it because you may actually enjoy it more than you think.
Yeah.
And men like are actually we need more men making art and being in a space that's like that. We need to see men's art because, like, you
Yeah.
guys have something to offer. You guys have, like, your own creative perspective and look and whatever that is. And, like I said, like, humans just create. So, like, whatever that is, if it's to bond with your friends, like guys, a lot of guys maybe would like the black light paintings. Like we can make it so it's like that, but you can
Yeah,
also
yeah.
make friends. You can also meet some single ladies. How about that? Like go to the place where all the women are,
Right,
Bingo.
right.
You go to the grocery store.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, like just come and try, or if it's a great bonding experience. If you have, maybe like you just need that date night and you don't know what it is. Like I
Mhm.
just did like a Love is Blind one where you're blindfolded and that's like a little different, right? Like it's not a feminine thing. It could be fun. It could be, I just feel like whatever you do, you're making it with your hands. How
Yeah.
manly can that, like you can feel good just having something that you made. So
Sure,
that's what I
sure.
would say. I actually do have a group of men coming, like 20
Cool.
men, and they want to do a whole bonding experience together and
Wow.
and they want to dig their roots. And it's like he wants it for his birthday and he's getting all of his close friends and it's gonna be amazing.
That's cool.
So yeah,
Very
men
cool.
men can paint.
Yeah, I really like that you're doing a lot of different creative, like, just really different types of events and get-togethers for people and
Thank you.
expanding what may have, have traditionally been a little bit more structured or whatnot in that art world. So I think that's really great. Well, Shannon, thanks so much for taking time with me. I'll be sure to put in the show notes, like your Instagram page, your website
Yeah.
link, all that good stuff so people can reach out to you. The last thing that I kind of just thought of too is I do imagine obviously you're getting a lot of local people, that have maybe seen the studio for a while or been following your Instagram, and they get the idea to to come and see you. Is there opportunity for somebody that is visiting, that's just coming in, to Joshua Tree for the weekend? We know that,
Yeah,
in the high season, it's thousands and millions of people
for
coming
sure.
to the park. For them who are coming out on a weekend to still be able to come in and, add something different to their Joshua Tree getaway.
Yes, absolutely. Anyone, anywhere can go on my website, earthandeasel29.com, and right then and there you can book it. Or you can just come in, like you can come in throughout the week and create. You can grab, it's open studio, you can just grab a ceramic, and I have little like cactus ones. I have really cool desert themed things, and we're gonna do more Joshua tree paintings so that you feel like you're taking the desert home with you.
Okay.
And so projects that incorporate Joshua trees are really
Gotcha.
popular so that you came here, you had an experience, and then you have another experience, but you have something, you
That's
know,
cool. Yeah, yeah.
to like remind you. And it doesn't
Yeah.
need to be a whole thing. It could be quick, it could be as fast as you want it, or you can sign up for an event online. And every event is typically going to be, starting at like 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that's really
Mhm.
all my events. And so,
Yeah.
you still have the rest of the night to go explore the rest of the desert, and you still have all day. But yeah, to take that 2 hours and make a memorable moment, and yeah, just create something like desert like, it's
Cool.
perfect. And I love meeting
Yeah.
people from all over. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
everyone from everywhere, please come in. You're gonna make me laugh and smile, and I'm gonna learn something from you too. So we need all that energy. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that idea of somebody, normally where they might be, going on a little weekend getaway and buying the T-shirt, of
Yeah.
where they went. I think it's a cool idea to be able to bring something home that you made.
Yeah.
I think
Or
that's a
we
great
can
idea.
paint on a t-shirt, and you can make your own t-shirt. How about that?
Right. There you go. Awesome. Shannon, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, it's so fun. Thanks, Danny.